Williams, have you explained to your client the charge, the punishment, her rights?
I have.
Do you believe she understands the charges, the punishment, her rights?
I do, Your Honor.
Does she wish to plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Do you agree with that decision?
I do, Your Honor.
On the offense of felony DUI, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
On 2 counts of felony DUI, great bodily injury, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
On the offense of reckless homicide, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
This occurred April 28, 2023, the 1200 block of East Ashley Avenue, Folly Beach in Charleston County. On that date, shortly before 10 o'clock p.m., the victims had left the wedding reception of Eric and Samantha Hutchinson, which was held on the western tip of the island. The newlyweds were being driven away in a low-speed vehicle, or LSV, which is a street-legal version of a golf cart. The LSV was fully illuminated with head and tail lights as it traveled eastbound from the reception site. Benjamin Garrett was driving. His son Brogan was riding next to him in the passenger seat. On the rear of the LSV was a newlywed couple, Samantha Miller Hutchinson and Eric Hutchinson. The path of travel was on West Ashley Avenue, across Center Street, and then continue on East Ashley Avenue towards the rental house. At approximately the same time as the victims were leaving the reception, the defendant was wrapping up an outing with new co-workers at a bar on Center Street, Folly Beach. After leaving that bar, Ms. Komoroski stopped by another neighboring bar, alone, for a single shot of tequila before getting into a rented 2023 Toyota Camry to drive home to her residence on James Island. The investigation revealed that in an hour and a half prior to the collision, the defendant had consumed 6 alcoholic drinks. While on East Ashley, the defendant traveled well over the island-wide speed limit of 25 miles an hour as she closed on the LSV. Data from the EDR, the electronic data recorder, or event data recorder from the vehicle, the Toyota, shows the defendant was traveling 61.5 miles an hour, 4.65 seconds prior to crashing into the LSV. 4 seconds later, at 0.65 seconds prior to impact, the EDR shows the defendant had increased to 65.9 miles an hour. The same data reflects the brakes were applied half a second later, 0.15 seconds before impact. During the time of travel eastbound on East Ashley, the onboard system in the defense vehicle captured black and white snapshots of the vehicle as it weaved across the road, off to the right, then over the center line, left, and then back into the right lane as it closed in on the LSV. At approximately 10:15 p.m., in the 1200 block of East Ashley Avenue, Ms. Komoroski crashed into the LSV. Crash reconstruction calculations estimate that the defendant was traveling approximately 63 miles an hour at impact, and the LSV was traveling approximately 25 miles an hour. Samantha Miller Hutchinson was ejected from the rear-facing seat onto the hood of the Toyota. Eric Hutchinson was ejected over the vehicle, landing near the point of impact. Benjamin Garrett was ejected from the vehicle onto the roadway. Brogan Garrett was ejected from the right side of the LSV into nearby ground cover. Brogan suffered injuries to his knees. Benjamin suffered a severe head injury, injury to his wrist, which is treated in the burn unit at MUSC, and injuries to his right hip and lower back. Ben will require further surgeries to address his other injuries, including a right hip replacement, a fusion of the right SI joint, possible fusion of his neck and back vertebrae, and surgery to address arthritis in his affected joints. Eric suffered 2 broken legs, one requiring surgical intervention to repair, a fractured facial bones, fractured vertebrae, also necessitating surgery, brain bleeds, numerous lacerations over his body. Additionally, his left eye was damaged, and the prognosis regarding his vision will develop over time. He necessitated surgery to fix the lid to that left eye, enabling him to close, and currently suffers double vision. Future surgery will be assessed. Samantha Miller Hutchinson died from blunt force trauma to her head and neck. Citizens that were staying or living in the area of the crash immediately responded to the site and called 911. Among those who responded were 2 nurses that happened to be staying nearby. They, along with others, began triaging the victims. Neither detected any pulse from Samantha. Sergeant Halper and Officer Honeycutt, also from Folly Beach Police Department, attempted to resuscitate Samantha using CPR and an AED. Ultimately, they were not successful. Samantha was declared deceased at the scene. At the scene, the defendant admitted to driving the Toyota and to drinking 2 drinks prior to the crash. She declined to perform standard field sobriety tests. She was then taken into custody for suspicion of DUI and transported to Folly Beach's Department of Public Safety to provide a breath sample, which she also declined. A search warrant was issued for a blood sample from the defendant. MUSC collected a sample according to SLED protocols. The sample was later tested by a SLED toxicologist who reported a BAC of .261. A retrograde extrapolation based on the time of the defendant's last drink, her age, weight, and height, estimated her BAC to be .255 to .318 at the time of the crash, between 3 and 4 times the legal limit.
Do you agree or disagree with the facts?
I agree.
Feel anything needs to be changed or added to the facts?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
First of all, for the last 20 years, my career has been a substance abuse counselor. So I wanted to bring that factor to the court. I have dealt with many different populations. The one thing that all these groups and all these populations have in common is the word enabling. Enabling happens when it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be their children. Maybe the adult is one that's alcohol. They help them because they don't want them to get in trouble. They don't want them to have a bad life. But by them helping them, they're really doing them a dishonor. And the only way that somebody that's having alcohol or drug issues and addiction can get better is to suffer the natural consequences of their behaviors. Who was Sam? I want to talk about Sam because my daughter. And she wasn't just a person on a golf cart that just got married and got killed. Sam and I had a relationship, probably better than most people that love each other. I'm very close with my other 2 kids. Our family has always been close. But Sam and I had a bond that was very different and very amazing, and we both had each other's backs all the time. We talk every day, her whole entire life. You know, most 30-year-olds don't want much to do with their parents anymore. You know, hey, yeah, I'll come over for Christmas dinner, but I'm not going to hang out with you all the time. The last time I was with Sam before the week of the wedding, her birthday's 3/27. So on 3/27, a month and a day earlier, she called me for her birthday and she said, "All I want, Mom, is for you to come see me, and for you to be with me on her birthday." And I brought champagne, and we brought cupcakes, and we went down to the beach at sunrise, our favorite time, and we did silly dances on the beach with cupcakes and champagne. That's what an amazing relationship is. The one year she moved to Utah on Valentine's Day, and that was the hardest. That was the only year we were ever apart. On Valentine's Day, I came home to my house, and my whole driveway was covered with "I love you" mores in pink everywhere. My whole walkway, my whole door was different color flowers. I mean, different color hearts, red, pink, my whole entire front door. I don't know many kids at 30-something years old that would care about their mom having a good Valentine's Day party or day and want her to feel loved and live in a different state and have one of her friends come over to her mom's house and do this. Not too many. That's the best friend. You can only hope that anybody in this room that has kids could have a relationship like that with their child's best friend. So unfortunately, I don't like talking about the event, but I just want to tell you what happened through Sam's mom's eyes and our family and what we experienced, which was pretty horrible. Sam had me hold her phone during the wedding. And when she was on the golf cart, she realized she didn't have her phone. So she said someone to come get her phone. And you don't know how many times you go down the rabbit hole. If she had just gone without her phone or told me to come bring it to her or whatever, I mean, it was perfect timing that she got right in front of this car. But we try not to do that too much. So after the wedding, we went to where we were staying in our Airbnb. We're standing out there and I hear all these sirens. I heard those fire trucks and saw those lights and I yelled, "Something happened to Sam." And Mandy said, "No, Mom." And I said, "Something happened to Sam." That's how much, that's a connection with somebody. I knew. And it wasn't until, I don't even know how long later, somebody came by and was nice enough to ask us if we had heard about the accident. And so she took us down there. Sorry, this is all this work. And Mandy and I, my daughter, ran barefoot into the scene, which was all rubbed up. Sam's dad was there. Within, like, I don't know the timing, but maybe 15, 20 minutes, one of the officers there came up and told us, me, that everybody that was in the accident was taken to the hospital. So Mandy took me to the hospital, and we went to the hospital to find Sam. And then my ex-husband, Sam's dad, called my phone and he said, "Sam's not at the hospital, Lisa." He said, "Sam's still on the side of the road. I just identified her." And I just fell to the ground. I don't even know how we ended up going through the next few days, but anyway, I know that's our story of Sam and what happened. She was kind enough to do her daddy-daughter dance with both of her dads, and nice enough to include both of them. And then afterwards, we're all standing there ready for the next thing to happen, and the DJ announces special dance for the most special person in Sam's, most important person in Sam's life. And it was me. And she played our song, and that's the last time I hugged my kid. It was on that dance floor. It was the most beautiful thing a child could do for their mom. And that's just unexplained, our relationship. The last thing I need to say, and I'm probably just read this, is that myself, Sam's siblings, Sam's siblings are nieces, and her father, we've been sentenced to a lifetime of pain. She died. We died. And she doesn't get a partial sentence. She doesn't get to come back to life in 10 years or 20 years. And we don't get to come back to life in 20, 25 years. This is a lifetime.
When I was 2 years old, I got hit by a car, left on the side of the road for dead. I survived. Everybody says they think the person was drunk. It was a hit and run, they never found the person. So every day I woke up for 57 years and hated this person. hated every day. I'd wake up and hate somebody I didn't even know. 6 months before Sam was taken, I said to her, I was like, I gotta get this weight off of my shoulder. I said to Sam, I'm gonna forgive this person. I don't know who it is. I did. The next day I talked to Sam. It was like 1,000-pound weight was taken off of my shoulders. I felt like I could fly. 6 months later, that hatred is back on with vengeance. I've never felt this much weight. This person, he took such a beautiful person away. She was loved by so many. I didn't realize how many people over the past year and a half have heard from people that actually hate you. And they love Sam, they never met Sam, don't even know Sam. For the rest of my life, I'm gonna hate you. And when I arrive in hell and you come there, I'll open the door for you. You have ruined so many people's lives. And I hope you understand what you did, because you've taken no responsibility for what you've done. You can apologize all you want later. I will not listen to a word. It's not worth it. Everybody used to call Sam the female version of me. Because we say what we mean and we mean what we say, and she always did. She was a beautiful soul.
Sam was my wife. I was sitting next to her on the golf cart. I've been thinking about what to say ever since that night. What do you say when your world's shattered? I think about that night every single day. In the last moments I had with Sam on the golf cart. She told me she didn't want the night to end. And I kissed her on the forehead. And then the next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital. I see my mom's face, still wearing the wedding dress from the night before. And I knew instantly. And so I asked where's Sam. I knew she wasn't there. I wish I'd died that night, so she didn't have to go alone. I wish I saw you coming. And I jumped off the golf cart so you would only run me over. And pray to God that you'd miss that golf cart. We did not get hit. We got rammed through at 65 miles per hour. There's no way any four of us, any three of us should be alive. All four of us should have died that night. But I'm a firm believer Sam saved us. That's who she is. And she would have took one for all of us. Said, take me, save these guys. The guilt with that I live with every single second of every day is unbearable. You took the greatest human being I've ever met. She's not coming back. She's gone. If I had it my way, I'd give you life. It seems only fair since you took Sam's life and the holes that you've ripped through her entire family, my family, and all of our friends. Sam was the light to all of us. And she was the wrong person to die that night.
my daughters Amber and Maisie. Their Auntie Sammy. The love she had for them was like no other, and it was mutual. Becoming a mother is the greatest milestone in my life, one Sam will never get a chance to do. 12 hours after we found out Sam was killed, Amber asked me why everyone from the wedding was at our Airbnb and why is everyone so sad. I was not prepared to explain death to a 5-year-old yet, especially because it was her Auntie Sammy. Day to day, if I say, hey, mommy's just going to the grocery store real quick, Amber and Maisie quickly panic, having to say goodbye multiple times just in case I don't come back, in their words, like what happened to Auntie Sammy. But I also now have the task of protecting my mother and being her rock through this. She once said years back, if anything ever happens to one of my kids, I'd kill myself. The moment we found out Sam was plowed down, I made my mother look me in the eye and promise me she wouldn't do that. I didn't quite believe her, knowing the bond her and Sam shared, and I knew I needed to be by her side through every moment of this. This tragedy has not only stolen the future that my sister should have had, but has also forever altered the course of our lives. I know that no sentence can bring Sam back. The choices made by the drunk driver the night she killed my sister will affect us forever. They have taken more than just a life. They have taken the future, our future. I am filled with anger and frustration knowing that my sister's life was cut short by a selfish, senseless, and preventable tragedy. The defendant's actions have forever changed our family, and we have to live with the consequences of this loss every single day, and she should too. No one should endure this pain except for her.
My husband, Ben Garrett, was the driver of the golf cart on April 28, 2023, along with 3 other of my family members. My son, Brogan Garrett, was a passenger in charge of playing the music and holding Eric's suit coat. And my brother, Eric Hutchinson, and my new sister-in-law, Samantha Miller Hutchinson, were all in the golf cart. Your Honor, I struggled with what to say here today because nothing will convey the depth of pain and struggle that we have endured all of these months or feel adequate to express what was lost that night. We spent the entire day of April 28, 2023 together. We started setting up for the wedding that morning on the beach with our entire family helping. It was a perfect day and a beautiful wedding. I have never seen 2 people happier or more in love than Eric and Sam were on that day. We were still cleaning up at the wedding reception venue when I got the call that changed our lives. The look of fear and the way my son cried when he finally saw me in the emergency room, waiting in my son's room in the ER while we weren't allowed to see my husband, and then finding out that Sam did not make it. Then hearing that my brother was also not doing good and wasn't expected to make it. I remember the worry of not knowing whether I should leave my son and husband when we didn't know the extent of their injuries so that I could go up to the ICU to say goodbye to my brother. It was all too much. It was so much tragedy. I'm trying to figure out how to help so many people I loved all at once. It felt like we were constantly trying to triage all of our family members, all while staying in a rental house 2,000 miles from home. The days that followed were heavy as we tried to comprehend the loss of Sam while trying to navigate the physical injuries Eric and Ben both had. That day that started out so blissfully happy ended in absolute tragedy. The defendant stole the life of the most vibrant woman with the best laugh and the most gorgeous smile. Losing Sam created an irreplaceable void in our family. The pain of losing her is an ever-present reminder of how fragile life can be, and it has left us in a state of grief that is difficult to put into words. Whenever I go 65 miles per hour on the freeway, I now think of how fast that really is, and that they were riding in a golf cart. It's terrifying to think of what they experienced as the defendant hit them going so fast. We know that it is nothing short of a miracle that these three men are still with us here today. And we know Sam had a lot to do with that. She is love and light, and the world will not be the same without her. No family should have to endure the heartbreak and suffering that we have due to this completely preventable tragedy. I do not believe this was merely a single act of recklessness. It has destroyed our family, shattered dreams, and left lasting scars on all of us. We will never be the same. Ours is a life sentence without Sam, and with all of the physical and emotional injuries that the defendant has left in her wake.
The crash took my aunt's life. A bride celebrating the happiest day of her life just hours earlier. She was full of love and laughter and light, and her absence has left an unfillable void in our family, as well as others who had to have Sam ripped from their lives. The impact of this tragedy goes far beyond her death. My father and uncle were severely injured, my uncle to the point that he was not supposed to make it through the night. My father endured immense physical pain, a long hospital stay, and grueling recoveries as well as having to watch my biggest role model and protector in life struggle that much to walk just a couple of feet, to sit up in a chair, and to watch him sit out while me and my brother would play catch. The decision to drive under the influence is not reckless, it's selfish and cruel. It is an act that destroyed a family and robbed us of a loved one who we can never get back. This accident didn't just affect our bodies, it shattered our hearts and broke the spirit of the family that had come together for love and celebration. Instead of remembering that day for the joy of a wedding, we now associate it with grief, trauma, and loss.
The hardest part of this, the whole incident, is the mental and emotional side. Your Honor, my wife and kids saw me in a state they should never see me in. And I am unable to be the husband or father that I was or wanted to be in the future. I should be seen as their protector, their rock. My kids and my wife now watch me go downstairs to make sure I can make it. They come out and carry things in from my truck or from our cars because I can't carry them in. These are all things that I could do on my own before. And I can't even do stuff around the house. I can't get on the ground, fix a faucet that's leaking. I can't get on the ground, pull weeds, or fix sprinklers. Wrestle with my boys, run football routes, throw passes, swing a bat, swing golf clubs, be a catcher for my son when he wants to pitch. I can't even go for a run. I don't even like to run, but I can't go for a run. I would love to be able to do TikTok dances with my daughter, like I used to. These are all things that have been taken from us, including my hobbies of hiking, fly fishing, ice fishing, skiing. I get so frustrated that there's so many things that I can't do. And stuff that I do around my house, I now have to hire somebody to do. When before I could just do it on my own. And whenever someone leaves our house, which we've got teenagers, so it happens all the time, we are nervous and always checking on them to see where they're at, hoping that they will make it home safely. Me being the driver, if there was something that I could have done, something I could have done different. I replayed the events leading up to it constantly in my mind. Like Brogan going back to get Sam's cell phone. How long we sat at a stoplight listening to a song. Could I have gone a different route? Could I have gone slower? Could I have gone faster? These are the things that I struggle with every day. Every day I'm in constant pain and have no way to get the relief that I need. I have to go to work. I have a family to support, and I work in construction and drive a lot, so I can't take painkillers. When I get up in the morning, I say a prayer that the pain today will not be that bad, and then I'll be able to do the things that I need to do to take care of my family. It is a daily struggle. Some days it's hourly. But I will not let James' choice to drink and drive that night keep me from trying every day to get better. Your Honor, I don't know Jamie. I don't know her personality. I've never talked to her. I don't plan on talking to her. But the decision to drive drunk that night was made well before April 28th, 2023. I'm a strong believer that people have a moral compass in their lives, whether we agree with that compass or not. Everybody has a moral compass, and Jamie made the decision that it was okay to drink and drive well before that night. There is a statement that Jamie made in one of the calls to her father where she asked, "Why did this happen to me?" Like she didn't have control over this. Your Honor, nothing happened to Jamie. Jamie happened to Sam. Jamie happened to Eric. Jamie happened to Brogan. Jamie happened to me. Jamie happened to everybody that was impacted by this. She chose well before that night to drink and drive, and that it would be okay. It was not. I'm not sure that Jamie is remorseful. We are here today, a little over 19 months later, listening to her plead guilty. Even though I am thankful for that, and that we aren't going to trial, we did not get to delay the physical and emotional prison that Jamie put us in for 19 months. Jamie will serve her time and the penalty that the court decides, and we will respect that. She will eventually get out, but the prison that she has put us in will be with us the rest of our lives. We will never get Sam back. Our lives will never be the same. I think about having grandchildren and not being able to get on the ground and play with them.
My name is jamiekomoroski, and on the night of April 28, 2023, I chose to drink and drive, which resulted in the death of Samantha Miller and the serious injuries of Eric Hutchinson and injuries to family members Benjamin and Brogan. This is the worst decision I have ever made in my life, and it has affected the lives of so many. First and foremost, I want to address all the victims of the accident I caused and say how truly and deeply sorry I am. of my poor decisions, a beautiful life was taken. A wife, sister, daughter, and friend of many. Is no longer with us. And for that, while I know an apology will fix nothing, all I can say is how incredibly remorseful I am. I also am truly sorry and remorseful for the physical and emotional pain I caused to the other family members. I wish I could go back and undo this terrible tragedy, but I cannot. I will live the rest of my life with immense regret for what happened that night. A lesson I have learned is that just because you have good intentions or would never want to hurt anyone, if you aren't being responsible for your actions, you can and you will hurt people. I know I am going to be punished for these actions, and I agree that it is something that must be done. I would like to make it clear that whatever my punishment is, I will use the time to better myself, spread awareness about the dangers of drinking and driving, continue to help others with addictions through AA, and work every day to improve myself to give maximum service to the community and my fellows. Unfortunately, it took this incredible tragedy and terrible incident to wake me up to the extent of my addiction. I hope to help people wake up and rehabilitate before it's too late. Because every single decision we make has consequences. And knowing you have taken a beautiful life from this world is something I will live with every moment of every day going forward. A life that should have lived on to fulfill all of her dreams and ambitions, who would have helped so many people in her life, all because of my own inconsiderate and thoughtless actions. I want the last thing that I say to be that from the very bottom of my heart, with every fiber in my being, how sorry I am, and that I take full responsibility for my actions. Hopefully one day you will be able to forgive me, but I know forgiveness must be earned, regardless of whether that day ever comes. Please know that I will always be devastated, deeply ashamed, and terribly sorry for what I have done. I pray God stands by the side of my victims and their family and loved ones for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
And based on what has been presented to the court, I find the following appropriate in the nature of sentencing. On the offense of reckless driving, reckless homicide, which is 2023 GS 103895, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 10 years and $5,000, provided upon the service of 10 years. Yeah. On both counts of felony DUI, great bodily injury, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 15 years and $5,100, provided upon the service of 15 years. And on the offense of felony DUI with death, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 25 years and $10,100, provided upon the service of 25 years. These sentences are concurrent with one another. You'll get credit pursuant to 241340 if that becomes applicable. And I think it is appropriate, and I queried Mr. Finch for a particular reason. It was not random. Our state legislature, in their infinite wisdom, amended 241340 to allow for time spent on monitored house arrest. Again, these sentences are concurrent. I've ordered the ATU if it is available to her, and she will get credit for any time served pursuant to 241340. Thank you all for your time and your attention today. Have a good afternoon. And I will leave the clearance of the courtroom to security, so I would ask that everyone stay in place and allow Major Burnstead and those who are assisting him. Ma'am, you may want to leave any valuables you have with your family. Leave that to them, so I would ask that everyone stay seated until the security does what they need to do in terms of clearing the courtroom.